Richard E. Spencer Memorial Scholarship is special to me because Richard was my friend for 30 years. At the time of his death in 2021, he was my best friend. He died suddenly without me getting to speak with him. People who know us both said that we were alike enough to be brothers, that we could be related. In fact, we both studied our genealogy to see if we indeed were related. What we found out was he is a direct descendant of Alexander Hamilton, and I'm related to a bunch of outlaws. But I still think it's there, which didn't mind. A lot of things I would like for you to know about Richard Spencer. He was a police officer for the Neosho Police Department. He was the chief deputy juvenile officer at the 29th Judicial Circuit. He was a professor at this university for over 2 decades and taught in law enforcement academy for over 2 decades. But most of all, what I want you to know is he cared about people, cared about young people, cared about students. On his passing, the number one, you could wrap up what people would come to me and talk to me. They would send me emails. They would come and speak to me, call me. It all started out something like, Richard got me my first job. He got me my internship. He got me my start in life. He made a phone call to give me my to get an interview. He just cared about students and cared about people. When the tornado hit, he took students to his house. They lived with him. He drove them to school. He drove them to work. I'm pretty convinced that half of them didn't really lose their house. They just wanted to go live with Richard. We miss him here. So I take it upon myself to pick the winner of the scholarship. For the 154th class, the Richard E. Spencer Memorial Scholarship Award goes to Sidney Crawford. For the 155th class, the Richard E. Spencer Memorial Scholarship goes to Corey Webb. You guys are nervous, aren't you? You're afraid of what I'm going to say. I got a call from Director Adams. He asked me if I could present a scholarship to a guy in behalf of a gentleman by the name of Jim Dacey. James Dacey is his real name. Is there any of the Dacey family here? A little bit about Mr. Dacey. I don't want to present this scholarship without everybody in this room having a good idea who this gentleman was. So I knew him. He retired from a job in the police department in 1989. I didn't start a job in the police department until 92, and then 20 years there before I became the police chief of Seneca in 2012. But in the process, I got to know Mr. Dacey through training and stuff for Pierce City. I was one of their firearms instructors. Contractors, college. Been out here for 27 years doing all the firearms. It's been a long time. I look around this room, oh my gosh, I see a lot of gray hair. These people are still doing what I'm doing. Anyway, I thought, man, I want some better stuff on Mr. Dacey. So I reached out to Sheriff Jennings at the top row up there. All right, Chris, it's hard to call these guys by their sheriff position. I called Chris. I'm like, Chris, tell me a little bit about Mr. Dacey. He said, James, part of it I really can't tell you. It wouldn't be appropriate. But the rest of it was, he's like, man, that guy had this phenomenal memory. He remembered everybody. And here's a little tip for you. The biggest prediction of future behavior is past behavior. So you want to remember his bad guys. And I guess he had this uncanny ability to do that. Well, that's good. He told me some funny stories. He had a great sense of humor. Well, I worked my way back on old guys. So I started with Chris. So the next call, I reached out to retired Sheriff Kenny Pope. He did 17 years at the Joplin Police Department before he ran. Well, he was an investigator, and he went on to be sheriff there for, I don't know, a couple of decades. And I called Ken, and we spent 45 minutes on the phone telling him the same thing that Chris is. Wonderful guy, a truly honest man, had a great sense of humor. And the last thing he said, he never forgot it. He said he remembers stuff forever. All right, I'm going to take another step. We'll go a little bit deeper. I called a guy named John Hubbard, retired Joplin police officer, did 27 years, I think, with Joplin. True hero. Got shot in the line of duty, in the back, blew his badge off. He's got on his wallet on the backwards. I said, John, tell me about Mr. Dacey. He said, James, man, he's a great guy, had a great sense of humor, remembered everybody. It's phenomenal. I thought, all right, I got to go a little bit deeper. So I called a guy by the name of J.D. Love. There's a few people in this room might know Jason. Most people don't even know his name is Jason. He done 30 years with Joplin, went on to be the coroner. Second black police officer that Joplin ever hired. Said retired from there. A true hero, went through the civil rights movement. A mentor. Golden Gloves national champion. He said, well, Jim, his old raspy voice, I can understand it, Dean. And he said, funny guy, James, funny guy. He remembered everything. He was a making special policeman. On behalf of the Dacey family, I'm going to present this Jim Dacey Memorial Scholarship Award to Cole James. Before I get down from here, I was talking with Dr. Wilson, Tim. I taught Tim in the police academy years ago. I can't even remember what that was. It was a long time ago because he's a doctor now. 1800s, it was. Anyway, he seems very well. But man. Anyway, this is the best two police academies. I've been here 27 years, and I truly mean this. I have the sheriffs all call me. I get calls from like Andy Blair's here, Sergeant Andy Blair. He's a training guy with Joplin. He's like, how's the academy going? They all call me because I have them for the majority of the time. And I say, this is the best group I've ever had. I mean, I've laughed with all of them. I made a few of them cry. I've had a great time. I mean, and it's so diverse. It's what makes these two classes really cool. You've got these guys over here that work in the jail. You've got a future retired Department of Natural Resources investigator. You don't see that every day. Then you go over here, you got a true war hero sitting on the end. He'll never tell you about it. Mr. Allman over there, you know. I'm so proud when I hear these stories about these guys and I see where they come from. You know, the Bronze Star winner with Valor. That's pretty cool. You got poker dealers. You got an NAIA. I didn't even think these existed. An NAIA National Champion Female Wrestler. I deal with these guys and ladies, I kind of get to know them, and I'm like, wow, this is a really diverse group that really brings a lot to law enforcement. And it's been honoring to be able to sit with you guys and talk with you guys. Heck, Cole means listening to Tyler Childers while we're cleaning guns. I mean, let's get him better than that. So I wish you all the best of luck. I'm proud to know you, and I think you're going to do some really spectacular things.
To introduce each recruit and any awards that they may have been receiving. We'll start with the night class, which is the 154th MSSU Academy class. First, we have Sydney Crawford, who is also receiving a Class Leader Award, Perfect Attendance Award as well. Next is Isaac Fry. Eckstein, High Physical Fitness Achievement, High Driving Performance Awards. Justin Shepard, Perfect Attendance Award. Caleb Springer.
I've lost my microphone, so I'll just be loud like I normally do. Jason Alden, class leader.
Corey Blevins, Perfect Attendance. Stetson Cornelius, Perfect Attendance. This is his father, Blaine Cornelius, who was Sarah Floyd. Jaden Gallardo. Carter Hands, High Driving Performance. Sharon Miller. Dustin Mitchell, Perfect Attendance. Okay, I have 3 of these, so you've got to hold your applause for just a minute. Adam Morris, High Academic Achievement, High Firearms Achievement, and Perfect Attendance. Jocelyn Murphy, Perfect Attendance. Tiffany Osborne. James Pennington. Melinda Sampson. Maggie Smith. Zachary Wald, High Physical Fitness and Perfect Attendance.
Good evening. Just getting nervous at graduation. My wife and I will be married 34 years next week. Week and a half. I got married when I was 10. It's not true. She knows when I'm nervous. She knows me very well. She said, "What are you nervous about in public speaking for 30 years?" And I go, "Well, I want graduation to go smooth. These recruits, they deserve a really nice ceremony, really smooth ceremony. They earn it." And she said, "Whatever you do, just don't try to talk too smart." I said, "Okay." She said, "Don't try to look too good." I said, "Okay." She said, "Whatever you do, don't try to be funny." She said, "In other words, just be yourself." This time I'd like to announce the awards for top recruit in each class. aspects of the academy training. This not only includes academics, but also dedication to being in class each day, as well as excelling in areas and practical applications requiring very little remedial training. The top recruit is one who exemplifies what a true leader should be and always leads by example. He or she carries themselves well both inside and outside of the academy and will have a very successful career in law enforcement. For the 154th class, for the 155th class, Adam Morris. I only paid you to speak. Can you swear him in also for free?
Yes, sir. You all please rise and raise your right hand. I state your name. You solemnly swear. That I will support the Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution of the State of Missouri. That I will maintain respect. To courts of justice. Judicial officers. And members of my profession. That I will conduct myself. With dignity becoming a law enforcement officer. And at all times. Will abide by. The law enforcement code of ethics. That I will never seek. To mislead the judge or jury. By any false statement. Of fact or law. And I will serve and protect. The people of the state of Missouri. To the best of my knowledge and ability. With consideration. For the defenseless and oppressed. So help me God. Congratulations.
Of the Missouri Southern State University Law Enforcement Academy. My name is Tim Wilson, and I'm the chair of the Department of Justice Studies here at MSSU. The Department of Justice Studies includes the Criminal Justice Program, the Law Enforcement Academy Program, Law Enforcement Continuing Education, International and Political Affairs, and Military Science. Tonight is the culmination of more than 600 hours of training for these recruits, and I am honored to be here and thankful for your attendance on this important evening. This time I would like to recognize any current or former military or law enforcement personnel. If you are current or former military or law enforcement, please stand to be recognized. Thank you for your service. In addition, I would also like to thank those friends, family members, and other loved ones in attendance who are here to support these recruits. They would not be here this evening without your support and sacrifice. Recruits, Please recognize your loved ones in attendance with a round of applause. And finally, I would like to recognize and thank our Director of the Law Enforcement Academy, Mr. Chad Adams. Director Adams has been a part of the criminal justice program for more than 10 years, and in a very short time has made great improvements to the quality and training our recruits receive in the Academy program. Thank you, Director Adams, for your dedication to this program, and thank you to these recruits. At this time, we will introduce our introduction of our speaker, Megan Smith.
Judge Dean G. Nicholson is a 1982 graduate of Joplin Parkwood High School. He received his undergraduate degree in economics from the University of Missouri-Columbia in 1986 and his JD from the University of North Carolina in 1989. In 1993, he was hired as an assistant prosecuting attorney in Jasper County. He was elected as a Jasper County prosecuting attorney in 1998 and was re-elected in 2002, 2006, 2010, and 2014. While the prosecuting attorney, he was elected to the board of Missouri Association of Prosecuting Attorneys, serving as president in 2010 and 2011. He served on many other boards and commissions in Jasper County, including the Children's Center of Southwest Missouri and the Joplin Sports Authority and the Carl Junction Education Foundation. He was also an adjunct professor at Missouri Southern State University from 1999 to 2016 and taught in the Police Academy from 1993 till 2016. Judge Nicholson was elected in 2016 as a circuit judge and was re-elected in 2022. He hears civil, criminal, and juvenile cases. His wife Debbie and he live in Carl Junction and they have 3 children. Most importantly, he led the Carl Junction Red 6th grade football team to an undefeated season and the 2009 Super Bowl championship. Judge Nicholson.
Good evening, and it is my honor and privilege to be here tonight to speak to everybody, including these graduates. Mr. Adams asked me to speak. He said I need a bio. So I had one, and I really chopped it down from what it was. And then he said, I don't care if what's in there is a lie or the truth. So I put everything you heard was the truth. I did add one thing at the end. I noticed that he cut. What he cut was, Mr. Adams is underworked and overpaid. So I thought you all should know that. I just had dinner with my wife and 2 of my children, and they said, what are you going to talk about tonight? I said, I don't know. And they said, no, really? I said, well, I think I have an idea. And my oldest son was a fan of the show, Whose Line Is It Anyway? You ever seen that show where the points don't matter, that you carry? So then we thought maybe I should turn to the class leader from my class and say, who's the class leader? You are. What do you want to talk about?
What do I want to talk about?
Yeah, what do you want to hear about? You just want to quit. Because what I want to talk about tonight is something I've experienced in the about 45 minutes that I've been here tonight when I first walked up, and that's relationships. And getting to do what I've been able to do these last 30 years has been wonderful because I've formed some great relationships over here. But I think there are 3 relationships, and I'm speaking mostly to you all and to you all, that you need to make sure that you keep and maintain as you go through your careers. As you heard, all that speech meant was I'm old, but take the benefit of my experience. The first relationship you need to make sure you maintain, and I look at my good friend Brian Lewis because he always helps me with this, is a relationship with God. That's the most important. And if you keep that one, all the rest of them will be okay. And I can tell you, thank you. I haven't been perfect on that. There are times where my faith never lagged, but maybe my attendance at church did. And then 7 years ago, I met Father Ted Estes, and on a Monday night at a gathering, he said, come to church on Sunday. I'm like, Man, Father, what you're asking me to do is way out of my comfort zone. He says, I know. We're coming to church. So I went to church on Sunday. He and his wife came over, greeted my family and me, and we've been going to church there now for 7 years. And I've got some wonderful people there, and one of the things that I get to do is when Deputy Knox Dunaway comes in at 8 o'clock on Sunday morning, because Sheriff Kaiser allows him to do that even while he's still on duty, I get to see Knox, and if I'm the Eucharistic minister that day, I get to help him and serve the Eucharistic wine. And that makes me feel good that I get to serve one of my friends in law. The second place I'm going to ask you to turn is, I bet as you all are sitting here today, there is somebody in this police academy that you didn't know. You probably didn't know anybody when you walked into class the first day, who is now going to be a lifelong friend. Because you've been through this academy together, and you've gone through an experience together that most human beings haven't. I surely couldn't go through. And you will draw on those relationships, and you will keep them, and they will make you strong. Because they can identify whatever you're going to experience and whatever you've gone through. And so I encourage you to keep those relationships. Build on them. If somebody that you are friends with now, you're working in Joplin and they work in Webb City, you know, that's not that far away. Have lunch with them on occasion. Go to dinner with them. Make sure you continue to build and nurture those friendships. When I walked up here today, I see Chief Hofer from Harrisonville. He used to be the chief in my town at Carl Junction 18 years ago. Well, when I walked up, he recognized me, I recognized him, and we started talking like there hasn't been an 18-year gap in the time that we've seen each other. We gave Chief Hawkins a hard time. I sat in the back before we started and talked to my friend Jim Altig and Brian Lewis. Before Brian walked in, Jim and I were talking about an old murder case we tried to get, held in Tinsley, because he put the body in a barrel, and everybody thought, this is not true, until the guy rolled out of a barrel out of the house. I'm like, well, maybe this is true. And because of the hard work, Jim was the first witness. I remember this from a long time ago. He was the first witness we put on the witness stand. And Brian is the one who got a skill saw out and cut a hole in the wall and found the bullet. Things I can remember. If my wife calls me now and asks me for milk on the way home, I'll forget. But I can remember the Elton Tinsley case from 1990. But what's important is I still have relationships with these guys. Some of them are old and they're dinosaurs, like Randy Kaiser back there, who looks kind of like a pterodactyl. But I have good friends here, and I've made good friends, and that's important. Because when you have those friends, and I encourage you, no matter where you work, get to know the other people who are part of the system. Get to know the people in the prosecutor's office. Get to know the prosecutor. Because you will need those relationships, because there's going to be a day you arrest somebody, and how long can you hold somebody in custody before they get released if you arrest them on a PC? 24 hours, very good. Somebody paid attention in class. At some point in time, it's going to be hour 23, and you'll realize I forgot to submit that paperwork. And now you've created an emergency on everybody else in the system. You better have a friend at the prosecutor's office you can call and say, hey, I messed up. Can you help me? And they'll be there. And I'm like anybody else. If I get a call like that from a friend of mine, if Mr. Adams calls me and says, I need a graduation speaker for the police academy, yeah, you bet. But if I get a call from some random stranger, hey, I need help with something, then what do you mean? I'm not sure. I don't know you. You may get a different answer. So have those friends. Make those friends. And make sure you keep those relationships. Lastly, as I look out in the crowd tonight, friends and family, do not let your career interfere with your friends and your family. The people who are here who love you and support you unconditionally will always do that. Don't abuse them. Yes, you will miss birthdays. Yes, you will miss holidays. Yes, you'll work on Christmas Day. And is that fun? No. But you know what? If you maintain that relationship, you put the time and effort into those relationships that they deserve, you'll be able to make it through everything. And you can open Christmas presents on the 26th, or you can open them on the 24th, and they're still going to be just as good, and the memories are going to still be just as wonderful as they will be on the 25th. So make sure you do that. You had, I think, Nate Dowley as a teacher in class. Nate was an assistant prosecutor that he and I worked on cases together, some child abuse cases together, and I remember finishing one. I could tell Nate was being bothered by what we had just gone through. Because it's no fun to ask a 9-year-old girl about what just happened to you and have it on the witness stand and have to tell her. And Nate was bothered by it. So I looked at him and I said, Nate, you know what you need to do? He said, no, what? I said, you need to go home tonight and you need to hug your kids. And ever since then, he and I have talked about how important it is at night, go home, hug your kids, hug your wife, hug your husband, tell them you love them. And for me, my escape after dealing with all of this stuff, and you all see it firsthand, to me it was all names on a piece of paper until we went to trial, and then it was bad enough. But my way of dealing with all of that was being involved in my kids' life, and as I meant as a joke, but Mr. Adams put in the introduction, yes, I did coach my kids' youth football teams. For some of you who are here, who are police officers now, who went through the class when I was coaching my kids, you probably heard more about that than you did the things I'm supposed to be talking about, and I apologize for that. But that was my way of dealing with it, was being involved with my kids and being involved in their lives. And I will say, yes, we did win a championship. I believe it meant 14 years ago. How did that happen? But the reason why my son's team won a championship and Mr. Adams' son didn't is because we had better coaches. With that, I wish you all the best of luck. I look forward to seeing you in court testifying. I look forward to reading your probable cause statements and your affidavits that you write for search warrants, because yes, I will see them, and I will judge them harshly. But thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for keeping our community safe. And God bless you. Good luck.
At this time, please rise for the presentation of the colors by the Jasper County Sheriff's Office. Please remain standing for the pledge of allegiance and invocation.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in saying the pledges of allegiance. Order.
seated.
That's the state of my, state of my, state of my head. That's the state of my, state of my, state of my head. It's been a long, bumpy ride sitting back in the saddle. It's time to get down, dirty up our knees into battle. Oh, come on, round up the boys, gonna make the walls rattle. Oh, our flag is tattered and our bones are shattered, but it doesn't matter 'cause we're moving forward. Round 'em up, let's go. Round 'em up, let's go.